All right. Welcome to another neuro-movement class with PD Active. I'm Stephanie, and today is the last class in January, if you can believe it, which means February comes next week. And with a new month, we often find ourselves with a new theme in our classes. I have some ideas in my head, but if you have any special requests, let me know after class, okay? Like things you want to work on, body parts, general themes, all that stuff. All right, we're going to start with a nice general check-in standing as we always do. I don't know what's going on with my framing today. Let's try that. So go ahead and just stand where you are. Whew, I needed that exhale. Let's do that a few times. Inhale through the nose. And then a nice audible exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And last one, inhale. Great, that's called a physiological sigh. And sometimes we do them intentionally and sometimes we do them just out of reaction as a self-soothing strategy. All right, so we're going to stand in our position here and take a peek down at your feet and notice the positioning of your feet. Do you have a wide stance, narrow stance? You have 1 foot forward to the other, they turned out, are they pigeon-toed? What is your just normal stance? Like, how did you land in this spot? And I prefer that you do this class with no shoes, and even better, no socks. So if you are not wearing socks, you can look down and see even the coloring of your feet. That's an indicator of how alive and connected your feet are. And we know that when we are more connected to our feet, we are more connected to our core center, we feel more stable, we feel more safe, and there's going to be less neurological tension that happens in our body when we feel safe and in control. So let's go ahead and do a little bounce through the body. You can bounce through the knees. You can bring the ankles and the feet involved. If you want to go for like an actual hop, go for it. You can let the arms flop around. Again, let that energy pass through your body so that it doesn't get absorbed. We want energy to flow through. Yeah, nice. So again, knee bouncing, ankle bouncing, or full on bounce. We're going to go for 10 more seconds. Hopefully you emptied your bladder before this. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Beautiful. Go ahead and start marching in place. And if you have it in you today to walk around your room, go for that as well. And just take note of how your body is walking about the room or marching in place. A couple things to recognize in your gait as sort of a self-assessment. Oh, my heart rate's up. What does your gait sound like? Do you have to look down at your feet or can you look in front of you? How long is your stride? Do you have those runway model hips or are you really rigid in the midsection? As in, do you rotate in your pelvis when you walk? Are your arms glued to your side or do they swing a little bit? Notice a couple things there in your gait. And then just bank those for reference when we check in at the end of class. We're going to do a little foot release exercise, again, to connect a bit more into our feet. Let's go ahead and take your right foot. Toenails are going to go down. So the laces of your foot are sort of looking at the floor. And whatever that looks like for you, maybe it's like, wow, my foot doesn't bend that way, so I have to kind of stretch back. Or maybe your foot is really bendy and it can come really close to you. Okay. And then you're just going to roll from big toe side of the foot to pinky toe side of the foot. And this helps open up the front part of your ankle. So when we're doing things like heel sit or thigh stretch, Maybe we don't get as much calf cramp, maybe. And then take that foot and stomp it out. I want you to wake up the downstairs neighbors, if there was such a thing. Really loud, be obnoxious. Let that vibration come through your foot up to your knee. Like let that vibration come all the way through with that impact. Good. Excellent. Switch to the other side. Other toe goes back. Nice. And then rolling from pinky toe side to big toe side. Oh. Yeah. And I know yours might look different than mine. That's okay. Everyone's going to have a different flexibility of their feet. Usually there's a trade-off in feet. I'm just going on a tangent now. There's a trade-off. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a trade-off between foot flexibility and foot strength. So like if something is so loosey-goosey, it might not have a lot of strength and oomph behind it. Right? And that's kind of my story. Like I have really bendy feet, but they're not very strong. So this might look impressive, but when we get to these calf raises next, that's where I get the challenge. Go ahead and bounce out that foot, stomp it onto the ground, get the vibration all the way through your system. Yeah, nice. Great. And then grabbing your chair or using a wall, you can have kind of like fingertips on the wall, onto the wall. We're gonna weight shift a little bit forward onto the balls of the feet and then float your heels up. Okay, so we're gonna try not to put all of your weight through your hands. There's definitely a forward sort of shift in that, but try not to like be here, right? Okay, so we're gonna work on lifting the heels and then lowering the heels. And when you bring your heels back down, I want you to try not to weight shift back into the heels. There's like a reaching of the heel down, it taps the floor, and then you pull back up. So I like to think of these as like pulling the heels up versus pushing the toes into the floor. Think about it as like a pull. Same thing, different way to think about it. Yeah, and like I said, this is where my feet get really tired. Some of you are like, I could do this all day. No problem. Here we're gonna go 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and last one. Nicely done. And we're gonna do a little hip hinge here as well. If you have a chair, awesome. You're gonna use your chair. If you don't have a chair, your movement will look the same. You just won't be holding onto a chair. You can make the same shape that my body's making that. We're gonna rock the chair in the front 2 legs and bow your chest down to the ground. And then bring the chair back up or back to the 4 points. Hands come back by your side and open up your chest to the ceiling. So like, yeah, there you go. Hands come onto the top of the chair again. You're gonna rock them onto the front 2 legs of the chair. Carrie's like, I've done this like 5 times already this week. Every one of my class, right? Opening up the chest. Reach forward on the front 2 legs. So you're gonna have a little bend in your knees. Mostly your back is flat. You're trying to keep your extension and your wideness in your pelvis. Let's do that a few more times. Hinge, bow, hinge. Stretching your shoulders up by your ears. Oh, getting that overhead shoulder mobility. Great. One more time. Stretching forward. And then opening out. Excellent job. All right, we're going to turn to the side again. So we have our hand on the chair. You have, let's say your left hand is on the chair. Your left foot is going to go back. And make sure that your foot is forward and not turned out like this. Okay? So we have the toes facing forward. Now, I want you to draw your knee down to the mat. Bring yourself back up. And then the right arm's going to do a big sweeping rotation behind you. Look at something behind you. And then bring your eye gaze again forward. We combined movements that we've done in the past, right? We've done both of these individually, but not together yet. Here we go. Down, up, circle, return. Down, up, circle, and return. Down, up, circle, and return. There we go. Working at whatever pace makes sense for you. If you feel like you need the chair, please use it. If you don't feel like you need the chair, hands on your hips. And this is where it gets dicey with the rotation, even for me. Last one. That back leg's getting smoky. Excellent. And then set together. Take it out. Either turn around or you can move your chair to the other side. Sorry, sweet cakes. So we have right hand on the chair, right leg goes back. Again, double check that their toes are facing forward. Yep. And we're going to lower down. Stand up. Sweeping arm, rotate behind you. Look at something behind you, and then eye gaze goes again forward. Drop, lift, reach around the back, and coming forward. Good. And that eye turn, so like getting your torso, your head, and your eyes to fixate on something behind you and then in front of you, primes both your visual system and your vestibular system. And just as a reminder, the way we take in our world, the way we understand what's going on around us, the way we understand safety is through these sensory systems. And so if our sensory systems are not taking in the world in an accurate way, our body's going to go, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to tense up and get really tight because that's protection. I feel safer when I am tight and protected that way. But if there's no life-threatening thing, let's allow ourselves to be free-flowing, right? That's the whole idea of this class. Let's go one more time. I'll get off my soapbox and bring it in. All right, shake out those legs. We are gonna work our way down to the mat. But of course, you know, I love doing these little drills of getting down onto the floor because they also help us get off the floor at the end of class. All right, so we're gonna start with the chair in front. Your hands are gonna be on the front two corners of the chair, and your feet are pretty close to the front edges. You're gonna take your right foot and slide it back. Lower your knee down to the ground. From here, we're gonna bring the arms up again into that extension, opening up your chest towards the ceiling. Bring your hands again to the front two corners of the chair. We're gonna stand up all the way and step together. Nice job, Janet. Bring it on down. Other side. We release off the chair, come into that extension, eyes to the ceiling, eyes back to the chair, step together, and reset. Now, go ahead and move at a pace that makes sense for you. I'm going to continue at this pace, but if you feel like you can go a little faster without losing control, go for it. Don't let me hold you back. And of course, if you don't feel like you need the chair, don't use it or minimally use it. Nice. Okay, we're going to do one more. And then go ahead and finish with your right leg back. And then finish your extension open. And then bring your hands onto your hips. All right, so we're finished with the right leg back. Yeah, I'm just going to come into this front facing position. Right here, you have your hand on your thigh. Actually, let's do this. Your left foot, slide it out to the side just a little bit. Kind of like walk it out. So your thigh is kind of on a diagonal now. We're going to come into a side bend stretch here, and you can put your elbow on your thigh for a little bit of support, stretching over. And I want you to start to turn your world sideways. So let your head go with like the trajectory of that curve from knee all the way up to the crown of your head. Good. This free hand is going to grab onto your thigh. Your left hand slides to your hip, and you pull yourself open to look over your left shoulder. That was a lot of rights and lefts. We can reset that. And try that whole sequence again. So come up to start position. We go side bend first. Open up your rib cage. The hand is going to come onto your thigh. You'll slide your other one back and look over your shoulder. Now, if you have interesting curves in your spine, scoliosis or whatever, just do what you can. Don't force anything. Just do what you can. Inhale into the ribs. Exhale and rotate, look over your shoulder. And even if you do have weird things in your spine, you can still move your eyeballs, right? You at least have that option. Let's go ahead and switch the side. So we're going to bring this leg in, other leg out. Remember, it's a little bit on the diagonal. We're going to go through 4 of those on this side as well. Inhale into the side body, big stretch. Again, turn your world sideways, kind of along the curve of what your spine is doing. The free hand comes to your knee. Your other hand comes sort of on your hip or your glutes, and then you're rotating over your shoulder. Slide again, looking forward. We go into that side stretch and reset. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on. You're like looking forward, you're looking sideways, you're looking blah, 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 all the things. We go up, inhale into the ribs. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, open. And return. 2 more, please. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And return. Last one. Nice job with that shoulder mobility. Everyone's getting their arms up over their head. Love it. Reach. And reset. Excellent job. We're going to tuck this knee back to where it came from. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. So if your chair is sort of in your mat area, go ahead and push it off to the side. Plus I have this gal here I'm trying to navigate. I want to disturb her. All right, we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. I know you have that shoulder mobility. Excellent. We're going to shrug the shoulders up and then reach up and over the top of an imaginary beach ball that's landing in front of us here. Your fingertips are going to land pretty far out in front of you. Shift your weight into your hands and come into a little bit of extension. So your eyes are up, your sit bones are flared, kind of sticking out your booty. Carrie, nice job. We're going to shift the hips back, round the spine. Again, imagine you have this beach ball going on kind of underneath your chest or your belly. We're going to try to pull ourselves off of that big beach ball without touching it on the way to your up position. Alana, nice job. Inhale, shrug up, reach up and over, fingertips land. Now it's sort of like you're going to smush into the beach ball a little bit. Yeah, shift back, launch the fingertips up, tucking the tail as you come upright. Now go ahead and move through that a few times as you go at your own pace. Work on the fluidity of it. So like, how easy can you make this look? It's sort of like soft landing, little shift, good slinkiness as you come up. Really good, Susan. Nice job. Up and over. Last one. Shift. Shift back. Tuck the tail around the spine. And bring it all the way up. Nice job. I'm going to turn to face the front again. We're going to start making our way down, hips to the mat. We're going to do this with our outriggers. So left arm is going to stretch all the way out on the diagonal. Left knee is going to slide through a little bit, and we're going to take a seat with our left hip on the floor. Reversing that, you're going to push through the hand that's on the floor and pull your left knee back to where it came from. If you need to use this hand, use it to come back upright. Nice. Same thing other side. Outrigger. Right leg threads through. You take a seat. You have this nice strong shoulder. It's almost like a side plank. Push down again. And if you need to use your other hand to do that, slide the hand back and then come up to upright. Okay, that's the drill. We're going to work on it for a period of time. Okay, so you can go as fast or slow as you'd like to go. Play with working minimal hand assistance. Nice. Yeah. So maybe even you could go like knee comes forward and you sit down, no hands. I know some of you are going to be on that track. Okay. And then coming up. If that's not for you, remember we have the outriggers. I kind of showed you like the in between. 2 hands, 1 hand, no hand. There you go. And Carrie, imagine you're holding a bowl of water. Now do it. Oh, or your puppy. It worked. It worked. I think that made it a little bit easier. All right, one more time. We're going to finish with your left hip on the ground. So left outrigger if you need it, left hip on the ground. And we're going to slide, if they're not already, you're going to slide your legs through for what's called a Z sit. Okay. So we have one shin kind of forward. The foot is kind of on your thigh here. And then this leg here, it's back. And if possible, we're going to try to go like laces down. Okay. There's that ankle stretch that we were working before, as opposed to like the foot being like that. That's like kind of weird on the knee, to be honest. So tucking it in. If this feels like you are like, I can't even hold this position, put a pillow underneath your butt so that it lifts you up a little bit, gives you more space. Okay. Left hand's going to be out to the side. Right hand on your hip, like you got some attitude. Hip bone to opposite knee pit. There's a little rotation. You've lifted your booty off of the ground behind here. And then we're going to spiral and put that booty meat down on the ground again if you can. Okay. Let's do it a few more times. So hip bone to opposite knee pit. And then booty meat on the floor. Your hand here is guiding your hip into position. Okay. So like for me, I like to I give myself a little boost and then I push it back. Boost, push it back. Okay. Again, that's another tool, like self-touch, being able to feel your different areas of your body working is another way to collect more information about what it is your body is doing. Is your body in a safe place? Yeah, I can feel it. Like no threat. I'm good. Okay. 2 more. Last one. Rock on. Now let's see if we can go no hands in your Z-sit position. How are we with that? Can everyone go like, woohoo, raise the roof? We almost there. Okay. So this leg right here, the one that's behind us, we're going to pull that in front into a cross-legged position with your left leg in front. I'm sorry, this would be your right leg in front. And we're going to not get too comfortable. You're going to go back into that same position. So tucking it in. Okay. Use this hand out to the left side, that little outrigger to help kind of lean your body into it. Yeah. Good. And then for some of you that are like, Steph, this is old news. I've been doing this forever. You're going to go no hands. See if you can swing that leg around. Okay. Nice. And then like level Jedi master would be like, if I don't hit my dog, straight leg back, sweep the leg around and then pull through. And I realize that some of that got cut off. Straight leg out, sweep it through and back. Okay. Pick your poison. Do what you need to do. You're going to go for another 15 seconds. Whatever version we're working on, the transition from cross-legged sit to and from Z-sit. Okay, with or without hands, with or without all of that excessive leaning. Maybe hold on to that bowl of water. Oh, I did kick it. Good. And then finish with your knees in front or your legs in cross-legged. Awesome. Great. Okay, we're gonna go cross-legged sit into hands and knees. So we talked about this actually in December. So cross-legged position. We're going to get real technical here. 4 fingers from your ankle bone. In the front of your shin, there's this acupressure point that's supposed to relieve a little bit of stress. Okay. If we believe in that, we're going to take advantage of it. So you're going to try to cross your legs over at that point. 4 fingers from your ankle bone. And then as we come over the top of our shins, there's this moment of pressure that goes on that spot as you transition into hands and knees. Yeah. And then we come back. Now, I understand that this is not comfortable for everyone. Okay. If this is not comfortable for you, you are going to get yourself into this position, try to cross your legs in the hands and knees, and just work on sitting back a little bit. Okay. Just work on the beginnings of that. If it does feel okay for you, and yeah, you're gonna feel a little discomfort for a moment, a little bit of pressure, that's fine. Again, choose which version is right for you today. We're working on the transition from cross-legged sitting to hands. Good, let's go one more time. And finish in a cross-legged sit. So if you were hovering in that forward position, reset yourself back. I don't really care how you get there. If you want to get there, not do the cross-legged. All right, we need to do the Z-sit thing with your left leg back. So we're going to pull that left leg out and then bring it into the Z-sit. Okay, so we have toe laces down, front leg in front, hand off to the side for that outrigger with attitude. Hip to opposite knee pit, and then settle your hip back down. And just like I said before, I'll repeat all the same things. Nothing new here. We're gonna push the booty meat forward, sink the booty meat down to the floor. What is booty meat? I don't know. Butt tissue, glutes. I guess if you got more tissue back here, there you got an advantage in this exercise. Sitting on back. Very good. We're going to do that 2 more times, rolling the hip forward and rolling the hip back. This is so good for femur rotation. When we walk in gait, in order to have our hips rotate and gait, have that like model walk. I don't know, model walk, whatever. We need this rotation in the femur joint. So if you're lacking hip rotation in gait, working on femur rotation can help you. All right. Now we're going to go look mom, no hands. Leg comes around to the front to cross-legged. Oops, sorry. You can use your hand on that side if you need to. Settle yourself in. Hand out to the side. Bring it back. Good. If you're feeling a little wild, no hands. Yeah. If you're going no hands, yeah, hold that bowl of water right in here in your chest. Oh, nice. And then Jedi Master level is straight leg all the way around to fold it back. Straight leg all the way around to fold it forward. That just requires so much more rotation in the hip joint. And then strength to do hip rotation. Very nice. Okay, lots of options. I'm just going to show other options in case there's people doing this. Maybe 2 or 3 more. Just a glutton for pets today, this one. Last one. Great. All right, so we have left leg in front for the cross-legged position. We're going to cross about 4 fingers from your ankle bone. So textbook. And then working on that acupressure point, we're going to come up and over the top of your shins and come into loading in the hands. Now, as I said before, if that was like excruciating no-go, that's making your nervous system less happy. We don't want that. We want happy nervous system. You can just practice kind of sitting back and rocking forward. Otherwise, go through that whole transition from onto your hands to seated. Yeah. Oh, it's like a massage for your calf, huh? At the front of your shin, acupressure point. And massage for your calves and ankles. Go about 5 more seconds of whatever version. And then finish back on your booty, on your bum. There we go. Awesome. And we're going to bring one leg out kind of like open. The other leg you can have however you want, honestly. We're just going to do like a little self-massage for the area behind your knees. So you're just going to take your fingers and massage. It's called magic fingers. Massage the back of your knee. And you might feel on the back of your knee that on the sides of your knee, you have these like ropey kind of structures. Those are your hamstrings and maybe some of your gastrocnemius, your calf. But what's more important is just on the inside of those, you have a bunch of lymph nodes. And by rubbing, shaking, tapping, massaging that area, you're opening up all of those portals to help with swelling. If you have any edema, swelling in your leg, pooling of blood, helps with that venous return from your feet back up to your heart. And I was just reminded of that because I saw an Instagram post, and I know my dad struggles with swelling in his legs. So if that's for you, then there it is. And if you don't have swelling in your legs, well, you know, it feels really good anyways. Yeah, let's switch to the other side. Oh, you know what? Selfishly, my knees were feeling a little tight, so I just wanted to do that for myself. All right, so same thing on the other side. And you can do this seated in a chair too. You don't have to be sitting on the floor. Yeah, and you can work a little bit lower than the knee too. So just below the knee, that high calf muscle. Oh, my fingers are getting tired. Gotta get someone else to do this for me. Honey. You're like, do it yourself. Good. And sometimes, depending on how much proprioception and kind of like connection to your body, you feel like a flush of blood flow, energy, fluid, you know, kind of to and from that highway into your lower leg. I'm feeling kind of almost like tingles on my side there. Awesome. All right, bring your hands back and go ahead and just kind of shake that out. Wow, that felt really good. We should just do a whole maybe we need to do a self-massage class. Just all the stuff that feels good to get the lymph moving. Well, movement does that, but sometimes we need a little jump start, don't we? Great. All right, we're gonna bring ourselves all the way down onto our back. Look at that, we finally made it to our back after 40 minutes. Bend your knees up so that your feet are flat on the floor. Arms out to the side. Let your knees go from right to left. Oh, yeah. And a few things that you can think about attempting to do, actually doing, is as your knees go to the left, let's say, your knees to the left, you're trying to push your right knee towards your left toes. Like give it an extra kind of reach it. And then bring it up and over to the other side. And that's just going to give you a little extra stretch in your hip flexor, your quads, maybe in your back. So when we're stretching, making sure that our stretches, you know, it's easy to just kind of relax and stretch. It's easy. I don't have to do anything. I just have to hold the position. We're stretching. But the best way to stretch and have lasting results from your stretch is to be active in the stretch. So engaging something that fills in that space, gives it structure so that you don't just retract into your old tightness. Strength is actually the best way to stretch. Strengthening. Last one. Wow, I'm going on a lot of little tidbits today. All right, we're gonna center up our knees, bring our feet underneath us, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Let's do a nice pelvic tilt. Pubic bone towards the nose, press your low back into the mat, and then release your tail and come into a bit of extension by creating space in your low back. So you're gonna rock from no space whatsoever, and in fact, pressure into the ground, imprinted spine, and then rolling into extension. And pair a breath pattern that feels right to that. I don't care why you're exhaling, inhaling, whatever. Just find something so that you are connecting pelvic movement and breath together, and so they're forming some sort of relationship. Yeah.
Great. And we're going to take that imprinted spine and we're going to bring that into an articulating bridge. So you're going to draw the pubic bone towards your nose. You'll start to peel your tail off of the ground by pressing through your feet and then driving your hips up towards the ceiling. When you get all the way up towards the ceiling, ask yourself, can I go an inch more? And try it. Sometimes perception is different from reality. Opening up in the shoulders and then articulate down nice and slow as well. So starting with your upper back and roll your spine down one vertebrae at a time. And at the very bottom, I want you to rock your tail into that extension. Give your low back some space. It's kind of the opposite of what we just did with the imprint. And then we'll reset again. Tuck the tail, press your low back into the mat, peel off the ground, pushing through your feet. Those of you that know the foot tripod, feel that as well. And then articulating down. And release you down. Let's do that a few more times. I'm not going to count it out for you. I'm not going to narrate each individual segment of your spine that's lifting. Go ahead and just flow through that from top to bottom. Spending extra time in areas of your spine that feel like they need a little bit more mobility, a little bit more love and attention. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have interesting curves in your spine, just do what you can. This isn't gonna feel perfect. Well, it'll be perfect for you, actually. Everyone's gonna feel this in a different but perfect way. Nice. And last one. Nice work. Go ahead and roll over onto your side, facing me. I'm gonna just tilt my camera down. Are we awake still? I feel very relaxed. Feel good. I'm gonna go like make a cup of tea and read Harry Potter after this. All right, no, I can't. I've got work to do. All right, so we have one hand in front. We have the knees stacked. All right, and we're going to work on hip rotation. Again, this is kind of a theme, I guess, it's evolving today. We're going to try to slide the top leg kind of off of the bottom leg via hip rotation. And then we're going to slide the top knee back by pulling the pelvis behind us. Now, the inseams of your leggings or your pants or whatever, they're going to be on top of each other and they're going to slide like they'd be on like tracks with one another. So the leg isn't like going rogue this way. It's sliding forward and sliding back. Okay. And you're going to try to keep the knees, you know, the top leg relatively on top of the other. It's tricky. So if you're feeling like, wow, this is like rubbing my tummy and patting my head at the same time. Yeah, that's okay. That's why we're here to hold space for some of these new explorations. Yeah, good. And this is getting the hip to rotate forward and the hip to rotate back. Kind of just like what we were talking about before with the hip rotation and gait. So tricky, yeah. Nice. Let's do two more. And then I'm going to ask us to be less specific and more playful. Now we'll just do that big pinwheel stretch. The top arm comes through. We reach up, draw a circle with your paintbrush around your body. Let yourself open up towards the ceiling. The paintbrush is going to continue reaching along, and I want you to try to reach your heel with your paintbrush. I know you probably won't get there, but try to reach your heel. And then again, so we're going to draw that circle with our paintbrush around and around. And every time you come through, I want you to try to make your outline of your paintbrush or your paint just like a millimeter beyond what you drew last time. So how would you manage that? You could shrug your shoulder a bit more. To get down there, you could like kind of crunch up a little bit. Maybe you kind of prop up on your elbow slightly. Maybe you like drag yourself kind of up towards your head. Maybe you push off to get a little further behind you. Maybe you sit up all the way and actually draw around your toes. And then lower down and circle around. Yeah, and then just kind of have fun with it, freestyle. Nice. One more time there. Love it. This time you are actually going to sit yourself up. So press through the ground, bring yourself up. We're in sort of a familiar side sit position. Walk your feet to the other side. No hands if you can. Maybe sit bone walk to resituate yourself on your mat. And then lay on back or lay onto your side. So now you should be on the other side and still facing me. Yeah, the side we haven't done yet. Okay, we're going to do that hyper specific hip rotation drill and then we'll get more playful. So knees are together. The seams of your pants are like tracks. They're like interlaced. Right way to say that. Okay, the knee slides forward. And then the knee slides back. So it gives us an illusion that the top leg is longer than the bottom leg. And then the top leg is shorter. And we're going to try to keep the knees together. Let them be the knees are sort of lazy. It's not really like my knee moving. It's my hip is moving and creating this effect. My hip is rocking forward and back. So like if I were to be in this position, it would be like doing this with my hips. Kind of like this thing. Okay. Yeah, I think that helps clarify a little bit. Nice. Let's do two more. And then we're going to do that paintbrush. All right, so go ahead and take your paintbrush. Dip it in the paint, whatever. Big circle up and around, open up towards the ceiling. Reach it down towards your heels. And then every time you sweep through, you're going to try to make that circle just a little bit bigger in diameter. And there's no rules. However you want to do it. You want to prop up a little bit. Pulling yourself over. Dragging yourself around. You're like, I'm going to get up fully and like, girl, and circle around. I'm going to like get wild with it. And you're just going to kind of look like a floppy fish. And if someone were watching us, they'd be like, you're going to be like, oh, it feels really good. Oh, it's so good for my vestibular system, moving around. It's like what babies do. This is how they get so good at like balance. It's like constantly doing this kind of stuff. All right, bring it on all the way down to the mat. We're gonna press on up. Come up into your full sit, your side sit position. And then we practiced this earlier. We did outrigger, knee to come up to high kneel. We worked on that one before. Coming up into high kneel. Give yourself a little bit of a runway. So walk your knees back to the maybe top of your mat or whatever. Give yourself some runway. And we're going to work on hip swivel on your knees. Okay, so you're just going to work on, you're going to have like hands on your pelvis bones, and you're going to work on this. Now, I went to this workshop once and I really liked what the instructor said. So don't think I'm the weird one. The instructor is the weird one. Imagine if you had a really long tail behind you, like an alligator tail. So it's like kind of heavy, but really long. And in order to sweep that tail behind you, you had to make like really big sweeping hip movements. Nice. Now, we're going to start to walk our knees forward, but I want you to continue sweeping that alligator tail, knocking the glasses off of the coffee table, all that kind of stuff. And you can move your arms as much as you'd like to. Good. Once you run out of space, you can crawl, you can knee walk, whatever, back to your start position, and we'll all reconvene at our start spot again. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. It's funny, right? I'm not the weird one. Remember my instructor is. All right. So alligator tail. Start adding in a little step. Still swinging that big alligator tail behind you. Once you get to your end spot, maybe just turn around. We don't have to like reset to the start position. And then go for it. Once you get there, go for another lap. Don't wait for anyone else. Just you can go. So you can start just the alligator tail in place. I think is helpful. Like don't add the knees until you're ready. And then big alligator tail. Sweet. How many times can I say alligator in the rest of class? Awesome. All right. Once you get to the other end of your runway there, if you need it, we're going to grab the chair again and just make our way up to standing. So you're going to take your left foot and bring it out to the wide part of the chair. Make sure that your back toe is connected there. You're going to drive up, but don't step your feet together. Just keep your feet separated. Yeah, so you do this with or without the chair. We're going to bring the knee down. Tuck that foot in, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This time we are going to step up to stand. A really, really wide base. Make sure that that back toe is tucked. Step 2. Take your time and stand up. If you know yourself to shuffle backwards and that kind of thing, you can just kind of drop in just to be safe. Okay? Otherwise, roll up. Good. And then find yourself standing all the way up to standing. And we're going to start with that alligator tail again. Alligator tail, big alligator, like super sweeping alligator tail. It is going to wipe all of the cups off the coffee table. All right. And then start to add your steps to it. And you're going to walk really weirdly, but with your alligator tail. And notice how much hip rotation that gives you. Notice the core activation that asks for. Wild, right? And if you're feeling a little freeze here, no big deal. You can just do the alligator tail in place. Just focus on the alligator tail in place. Nice. Maybe next time you go out on your walks, you're going to prep your walks with an alligator swing. All right. Bring yourself back to your station, your starting spot. We're going to do a quick check-in. First of all, how do you feel? How's your brain? How's your mindset? How's your energy? We kind of like brought the energy down, and then we were like, whoop, brought you back up. And then take a peek at your feet. Notice your stance. Is it the same or different from where you started, right? Like, where did you land just right now? And if you have no socks on, you can see your skin color, like, how does the skin or circulation in your feet feel? And look. And then go ahead and bounce. Does that bounce come easier or harder than it did at the beginning of class? Let your arms jiggle. Let your tummy jiggle. Let the energy flow. Let other things jiggle. Let it all jiggle. And rest. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, big stretch north, shrug your shoulders up. Give yourself a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And release the arms down. Excellent job. Nice work. I'm going to turn off the recording. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, let me know.